Should have never been this way. Come to grips with what's inside. I know there's no place to.
From Mathis, Texas. It's 30 miles north of Corpus Christi. Music. It all started off with maybe this girl right here, bro. She inspired my sister to become an artist, and that's how it all started. I'm the youngest out of 5, and everybody else are musicians as well, and they kind of, started the foundation of music within our family. No, actually, I was kind of small. Like growing up, I was like maybe 7, 8 when my sister really started doing well, and then my brother started playing, and it was just kind of how can I say this? It was just kind of their thing, because I just never really got a bond to get across. Because I was young, man, and of course I was like the black sheep of the family. I loved rock, man, and I never really had an opportunity. I did come on Domingo Live with Los Gonzales, though. That was pretty neat. That was like the first time I was part of their band, so it was it was pretty cool, man. It's just seeing them when they first started, and seeing how it was just the family that started it, and slowly but surely started to seeing the fans, and they started coming on the radio. I'm like, God damn, one day I want to be on the radio, so it was like everything that I wanted to do in my life. It came from the roots of my family with my, especially my mom and dad. They really did everything and anything to make their music dreams come true as well as mine. So I picked up the guitar when I was about 13, 14, 7th, 8th grade. And I have always been singing. I'm gonna tell you a little side story real quick. When my family, when they were popping off with their music, every once in a while that, let me go on stage and sing a U2 song, With or Without You, and that just, being like with the lights, being on stage with them was really special, and I wanted to continue that. I wanted to hold the torch and be like, it's not over kind of thing. Music runs deep in my family, man. It just comes from the soul. It's like, certain people do certain sports, like they're like, man, this is for me. And singing what started it all for me, but like, once I had the guitar and I was able to have a bond with it and be able to like have my voice do certain things with the guitar, it like really worked out for me in the long run. It started off slow. It was, like always in the back scene in the room, just practice my ass off, man, trying to make it work. And this is what came out of it. Once I started like writing my own music, that's when it got special. That's when I was like, man, and it started off with Never Thought. And it all started off with just coming up with a nice little rhythm, a nice little chord progression. And you start, thinking of, man, what would sound beautiful with this, with lyrics in it. And, all my songs, every single one of them, like, it comes from like parts of my life that I throw into different words and be able to make it life again. Well, before this year ends, it's some good news. I'm be releasing some new music for Chapter 2, and I just finished, of course, with Chapter 1. It's in the books. I'm still going to be putting some acoustics to it, putting some extra content to where people could understand the songs, because I just hit them with like all these songs. They have no like vision of what it means or anything like that, so it just goes through one ear out the other. So I'm trying to capture of my artists, who I am, for them to actually understand and maybe help out people that go through the situation. Maybe the words will help them, better on in life. Chapter 1 is just the beginning, first couple heartbreaks, it's just about never giving up on yourself. Never giving up on yourself is pretty much the key in everything, it's the background of just keep going. That's a hard question. They all have their own purposes, man. They all have their own, like, if I'm feeling this way, I'll listen to this. But, you know, of course, your first song and what it meant, and, you know, it coming out to your imagination and be like, I could do this. I could make music. I feel like if I could make myself feel goosebumps with my own music, then it's, who gives a shit what anybody else thinks about it? Like, that's what it makes me feel like, music. It's you know what I'm saying? So the one, The Sun, Carry Me Away, and of course, Waiting Game's a powerhouse, man. I really enjoy those tracks. It started off when I first came up with a riff, and that same riff that I came up with ended up later on being, which was 10 years later, on a track, you know, and it stays with you, and you just, one day, you know, sometimes you come up with stuff, bro, and you just don't know what the hell is gonna come out of it later on, and later on you come across a situation, right? You come across a situation, and it's like, this will work with it, and then it ends up coming out of a backpack that you had since you were in high school. There's a chapter 2 coming. I'm not going to wait and just like slap it on. I'm going to go ahead and like, okay, this is going to be the next song, chapter 2. I'm going to make sure I'm going to put full attention where the audience could connect to it and whatnot. They're going to be able to find, I actually have 2 videos on like actual music videos on my YouTube on J Trip. One's Waiting Game and one's Glue. Glue is actually the last song on the album that I wrapped up chapter 1 with. So go check it out. U2 is probably, of course, is always going to be one of my favorite top 3 bands for sure. And I love singing to Bono's voice, and I think I really, after so many years of just singing the same songs over and over, I kind of developed, you know, more or less, you know, the way he controls his voice and whatnot. And recently, I've been listening to, well, that's my vocal standpoint. As far as guitar playing, I fell into Steve Vai's Imagination with Tender Surrender and For the Love of God. Those 2 songs really shaped my guitar playing and the way I, you know, feel about the guitar. And of course, Metallica, you know, Fade to Black, One, Nothing Else Matters. All those songs were some of my first riffs, you know, like, dun, dun, dun. You know, it was neat, just like, okay, actually, I'm not even playing nothing with my left hand. This is pretty easy. You know, it just kind of built up the way that I found music as far as playing the guitar, because Kurt, he, like Fade to Black solo, like I studied that thing religiously, and I found out like, okay, well, this is a certain key where I could do all these notes and they'll sound good even if it's not the same note that he's playing. So I try to mimic as much as, you know, there was no Facebook. There was like, me being in junior high going into high school, it was real hard to get access. There was no YouTube where I could just be like, okay, this is how he's playing it, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of my music's come from the years. I'm not playing it exactly the way they play it or anything like that, but at the same time, like I said, it's all about the keys, and he really helped me open up the category of like, man, like, okay, so these are the notes that you could play with the certain chords that are playing. You know, it's just so much. And then, like I said, then I started hearing Steve Vai's stuff, and I fell fond to it, man. I practiced my ass off trying to be like him or trying to feel the way he feels, and it took me a long way. Like, my music now is just it's neat that I'm not doing it by just the book, because then you're gonna be like, oh, I need the book to do it. No, like, it's natural for me. There are certain artists for, you know, the different kinds of music that I really adore. You know, of course, growing up in my household, it was like trying to study but listening to the Hano music, you know, hearing, you know, because they practice in that, you know, within the house. Not exactly. I feel like the transitions, the stops, like the certain, like I do a lot of that in my music. It's just, you know, the way that they transformed into being really, really good bands. I mean, I once dreamed of being on the radio. I knew it was kind of hard because I wasn't part of their band. I wasn't part of, and you know, I just dreamed of doing something with rock. And I got my first gig on the radio, and the DJ, Rex Gabriel, he made my dream come true, and he actually invited me to the interview because I had finished my first 5 songs, and you know, I gave him the soundtrack, and he emailed me saying that, hey man, would you like to come to the studio and have a little, man, you know, that right there just like, that was like, man, I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going, like hearing it, and this guy's been on the radio for over 30 years, man. So this guy's listened to music, that's his job, to listen to music, you know? And it's just for him to like take his time and listen to the words, and this, he really pushed me, man, to like keep going, to, you know. And we had a couple of meetings, we had a interview, we did a nice thing with the foundation. We auctioned off one of my guitars, and it's been very fun, man, just seeing everything come true for me. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Skid Row and Thin Lizzy. Phil Lynott, he was someone that I just discovered about 8 months ago, and he's like, now I'm like, that's my YouTube Bono all over again. Like, that's a guy that I'm like, I love his style. I love the way he, you know, he tells his life through his music as well. There's just nothing much outside of music, but excuse me, I was about to cuss. Work, man. I work 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock, and that's what I fund my music with and what I do. By myself, yeah. No, it's been a very lonely journey, man. Like back in Mathis, I had a little trailer, and just after work, man, just go and study, have the guitar in my hand. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more content because I haven't even posted anything in the past 11 months, going on a year. So, you know, I needed to work on myself. I wanted to get in better shape, you know, get my guitar playing a little bit better, and, you know, show the people that I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, and get ready for a new music video, some acoustics, and a whole lot of covers coming up. Appreciate you. Thanks for the interview.